Thanks for having me, Adam. Uh, I have never listened to it. It's truly, I have no idea what it sounds like. Totally. Um, all right, man, I got you. You're taking me way back because, yeah, no, I'm trying to like. I barely remember that was 2005 that I recorded that audiobook, so it was 15 years. Fuck, it was 15 years ago. Yeah, and I barely. It was in Chicago. The only thing I remember reading that audiobook was that I was really mad because I had edited my book 1,000 times and I thought there was nothing to change or improve. And reading it out loud, I heard like 50 things, and I'm like, oh God, if I just read this stupid thing out loud, I would have seen that. And so, like, I guess I was probably angry the whole time I was reading it. Truly. Yeah. Yeah. I yeah. I genuinely cannot remember anything about reading that except that I learned that lesson. It's one of the things that we teach in my company. I edit is read aloud. That's how I learned it, was being angry at that reading. Yeah. Not maybe read it out loud, definitely. We literally, it's part of our process. It's called the read aloud edit. And you have to read it to another person because you can't just mumble it under your breath at the computer, right? Because when you read it out loud, you'll hear all the problems with it. And then you correct them all. And that's how I learned it, was that audiobook. That's the only thing I remember about recording that audiobook. At that point, I didn't, none of it. I mean, because that was like, I mean, dude, that was at the very beginning of my career as a writer. And God, it's only 15 years ago. It feels like 100 years ago. It's so long ago that it's hard for me to even conceive that it's the same lifetime. Like, so everyone's like, oh, it seems like yesterday. It doesn't seem like yesterday. It seems like a different universe. Right. Uh-huh. Right. Yeah. Right. Right. No. No, I have a lot of problems. It's never been a problem for me to tell the truth. Now, sometimes I don't know what it is. Like, I'm wrong a lot, meaning like I'm seeing things wrong. But when I know something's the truth, or if I think whatever I think it is, I've never really had an issue. I don't want to say I've never had any issue. That's not true. But it's I always, if there's a defining thing about me, it's that I am willing to speak truth. Yeah, it it does. It's a double-edged sword, definitely. Like telling the truth, it's one of those things where you're better off just going all in. Either be a manipulative asshole or just tell the truth. I Some people can either or weave that yeah, or they can they can thread that needle well. I'm not one of those. Like whenever I try to be deceptive, it just doesn't it's not who I am. So I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna tell the truth, and it makes it easier. I agree. Mhm. No, no, no. Yeah, I mean, of course, they're always like, "Hey, for $5,000, can you only put 100 links on?" Or like, no, no, but I no. Yeah. Hmm. Man, what it was, honestly, we all graduated law school and we all went to different cities to work. And I went to Florida and I hated everything about my life. Like, I genuinely hated my life and I had no idea what to do. I didn't have the courage to kind of recognize it to myself or to realize like I had to take a different path or anything like that. And so I just kind of got drunk and hooked up with dumb girls. And, because Florida's the armpit of America. At least it's a lot better now. Then it was really bad and everyone's moving to Florida now. Uh, everyone's moving to Florida now. Now, like I know 50 cool people in Florida. At the time, there was zero, not one, no one. Like Pitbull was the coolest person in Florida then, and so like it was the worst. And so like I just had hated it. Florida used to be if you were old, it was great, and if you did a lot of drugs at clubs, it was great. And I was neither. I was young and I didn't do any drugs and I hated clubs. And so it was like I was like this weird exotic animal in the wrong place, right? No, Texas is a great environment for kangaroos, more like a polar bear in Texas or something, right? Yeah, because it's good weather here for kangaroos, and so it, it is exactly. And so I hated it, man. I really did. And so the way I dealt with my misery is get drunk, hook up with dumb girls, and then have all these horrible things happen to me. And then because I was miserable and I didn't want to feel any of these emotions, and then I would write funny stories about it to my friends. Like I would laugh about it and try and get them to laugh. And that's really how it, and they thought it was hilarious and they started forwarding the emails to their friends and it kind of took off from there. I didn't write with any plan in mind. It was a way of doing therapy without doing therapy. Yeah. Yeah. No, nothing about this felt self-fulfilling at the time. It felt like I was falling ass backwards into both like awesomeness and horribleness at the same time. Oh, it was, yeah, I mean a lot of people said that, but like it was such a long tedious journey, man. It's so funny, like everyone looks at everyone successful says, oh, it was super hard and a long journey, and people look at them and like, yeah, 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 but it was not, right? It was actually pretty easy, and like no, it was really hard. Like, and the same with me, like random emails, and then like then MTV filmed me for this random thing and it blew up, and then publishers reached out and they kind of wanted to do a deal, but they gave me bullshit terms and I turned them all down. And then it was like I was out in the wilderness with nothing, like I couldn't afford protein to eat, like it was I was my life was horrible, and I just kept writing and I kept at it, and because I didn't know what the hell else to do. And then like my site took off again, and then like publishers came back a few years later. I mean, it's this long crazy journey. Man, there was times I couldn't pay rent. I was sleeping on people's sofas. It was awful, man. It was terrible. But I stuck with it, and I'm not going to be like, oh, I stuck with it because I had some high-minded ideal. Honestly, man, I stuck with it because I didn't know what else to do and I hated everything else that was like possible. I hated being a lawyer. I hated business. I hated everything. And like, this is the only thing that I'd ever been good at that people wanted me to do. And I knew it was good. So I just had to figure out a way to make it work. And eventually I did. But I almost feel like like stupid stubbornness paid off, but I had to stick with it for a long time, you know? Because I'm an idiot. There's no self, dude. I was the antithesis of self-aware at that point in my life. So I okay, yeah, no, for real. Like my thought process at the time, truly, I went to the University of Chicago for undergrad, which is a pretty good undergrad, and so I thought I was the coolest, smartest kid on earth when I was just an idiot and a loser. But I thought that, and then so as a young dude, it's like, okay, well, how do I get status and money easily, right? And so there's really three at the time. There were three options. Like startup culture hadn't taken off yet. If they had, I would have started a tech company. But at the time, you could either go be an investment banker, be a management consultant, like work for Goldman Sachs, work for McKinsey, or go be a lawyer. And I knew guys, friends of mine, who were working for Goldman Sachs, and they were literally working like 110-hour weeks. And I'm like, that's, I mean, unbelievable. I'm like, no, that's horrible. Why would I go do that? No, it's not. And then they were all like doing a lot of coke and sleeping with hookers, and I'm like, no, no, I'm not into no, I'm not paying for sex and I'm not doing blow. It's just not going to happen. And so I'm like, well, what about management consultants? And then I'm like, okay, they're working less, but 80-hour weeks, right? And they're getting paid a lot, and they kind of seem cool, but like they hate their lives, and it's all bullshit. I'm like I'll never forget this one friend of mine who was an idiot he was a senior when I was a freshman, and he was a genuine idiot. And this dude worked. It wasn't McKinsey. It was, I don't know, Deloitte or Bain or somebody. And he was like telling people, experienced old people at companies, what to do. And I'm like, I wouldn't follow that dude into the bathroom. If he showed me the urinal, like if he was a bathroom attendant, I wouldn't do what he said. He's a moron. So I'm like, okay, then clearly this is a job for idiots. And the only thing left that was easy, that paid a lot of money, that gave you status, was being a lawyer. Now I was too young and stupid. Yes. No, but the one I got to was the worst of the bunch. Like it was awful. And the lesson I had to learn was, if it looks like easy status and money, the you don't see what the price is, and the price is very high. And the price for being a lawyer is your soul. The price for all three of those jobs is your soul, you know? Mhm. I mean, there's a lot of negative criticism on my books too. Like that's how it works, right? Yeah, like I don't know, man. I don't know. It was that whole period. The 2 years I spent in Hollywood was two of the worst years of my life. Like I really hated LA. Oh, dude, I mean, like it's funny, man. I thought I was a soulless, sociopathic narcissist, and then I got to LA, and I was like, oh no, I have a soul, and oh, dude, dude, like I'm like, no, not only am I not a sociopath, I actually am very empathic and have a soul, and I'm not even a narcissist. Like I can't imagine narcissism as much as, right? Seriously. I'm like, oh, I had no idea what evil was until I got to Hollywood. And I'm like, okay, this is horrible. I'm not, no, 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 no. I'm not one of these people. And so like I left, man, everything about the movie was horrible. And now I'm not blaming. I had all kinds of problems too. Like the a lot of the problems with the movie, of course, I had the wrong director, the wrong this, the wrong that. And at the end of the day, I mean, I did an amazing job setting that thing up. I got it all set up in 2 years. Like I busted my ass, this, that. I picked all the wrong people, man. It was, that movie was a reflection that it should have worked. Honestly, the script was amazing. It had the right core property. It didn't work. It had all the elements and it didn't work. And it was my fault, man, straight up. And so I had to really accept it was one of those moments in life where you had to say, am I going to double down on what I was doing that got me to that moment and just ignore this failure? Or am I going to actually internalize this and realize, all right, clearly there's something I'm doing that's not right. And it took me a few years, but I realized I didn't double down. I went the other way. And that's like I moved to Austin and now like it took me on a whole different trajectory in my life, you know? Oh yeah. Eh, well, no, cuz I mean I knew I wasn't going to write about Fratire forever. You're only in your 20s for so long. Like it doesn't like that's yeah, like I wasn't going to right. I'm not going to be 40 in college bars sleeping with 19-year-olds. That's skeevy. I'm not doing it. And so, right, exactly. So I knew it was going to end eventually. And so, I wrote my last Frontier book. I forget how old I was, 34, 35 or something. And I'm like, all right, I'm done with it. Cool. I'm going to move on. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's fine. Like, what's his name? Dave Portnoy, right? Is the guy? Yeah. So, like, look, I I don't really care. One way or the other. It's working for him, cool for him, good for him. Like he's done some ballsy stuff. He's also done some stupid stuff. Whatever. I mean, like I've never gotten into. Well, I'm going to spend a bunch of time commenting on someone else's life or whatever. If what he's doing is good for him, cool. I got no problem with it. Like I don't consume any of it. And I don't mean that as a judgment of him or anyone else doing fratire type stuff. If they want to, if that's their level of consciousness and what they want to do, cool. I got no problem with it. I'm just not in that world anymore. It's just not interesting to me anymore. And it's so funny, man. Like 30, I'm 45 now. At 25, there was nothing, you could never have convinced me that I wasn't going to want to go out with my friends and get drunk and pick up girls the rest of my life. And at 45, the idea of having to drink even 4 beers and staying out past 8 o'clock is like, oh God, get away. Go away. No. Uh-uh. Yeah. Uh-huh. I, yeah. I don't even go past 2 glasses of wine. Truly. Because I know the third glass of wine, I'm like, oh man, exact same thing. I'm gonna feel like shit tomorrow. I know. Dude, like I said, I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to what other people are doing or not doing, right? Because it's a funny thing. I don't even think about this as a rebranding, because a brand is a construction, right? I decided to change my life. Right? It kind of gets back to what you're talking about too, with being honest. Like I just am who I am, and I do what I do, and it's not a brand, right? It was part of the problem with my first iteration of fame is everything was my name and myself, and now it's like I'm doing other things, and people are like, "Oh, but your brand is X, is drinking," and I'm like, "No, that's not. That's not." Which I know what they mean. Like I understand their point, right? It's the problem though with making your personal or your public brand yourself is that you then there's a certain set of people who like always see you for what you are, and it doesn't really bother me. It's fine, whatever. But I don't like that's not how I see it. It's not how I approach it. You know? Yeah, of course. Hmm. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wrote a bunch of books about it, so there's no hiding it for me. Um, uh, yeah, right, exactly. It's funny. It both helps and hurts, right? So, like, it's like being honest. Is it being honest a two-edged sword? It cuts both ways. Same with my past. Is like it helps immensely in a lot of ways, and then we have absolutely lost a bunch of deals because of it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It should have been logical, and I wish I'd thought about it earlier. But it's like one of those things where I forget who it is. Mark Andreessen is saying that like the market will pull a product out of a startup, right? For from the day I published my book, the number one question everyone asks me is, "How do I write a book?" And so eventually I helped a woman do it, and then she referred her friends to me, and then that became Scribe. And so now, 6.5 years later, we're like well into I forget what our sales are. I mean, I think we just passed 50 million in sales, and we're like crushing it because there's a ton of people who want this help. And so, but I'll tell you, man, all I really did was start the company and help like set the frame. We have a professional CEO who runs it, who's Javon McCormick, who's a real CEO, not me. Like, dude, dude, it's a totally different skill. It is a totally different skill. It depends on the business, but under a half million, anywhere from 5 million to 500,000, depending on the product, you don't need a serious professional executive team. But once you get above that, for us, it was about 2 million. Like then it's like the wheels start coming off because understanding how to run a business is totally different than understanding your product, right? I know books and I know writing. I don't know scaling businesses. And so we're a huge oh dude, screw all that. It's awful. And like he loves it and he's amazing at it. And he hired the full exec team and they're all amazing. And so like I don't really do a whole lot in the business. I do like media like this and I do like I develop new products or I do biz dev. Like I do this stuff that's like fun and that I'm good at and that's it. It's really nice actually. Honestly, it's really fun. Yeah. So what we do is we help if you want to write and publish a book, we're the company to go to, right? So if you want coaching, we'll coach you through writing it and then we do the publishing. If you want someone to interview you and kind of ghostwrite it with you or for you, then we have that process. If you want to write it yourself and just have someone professionally publish it, we do all of that. Like, we did David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me. We did Tiffany Haddish's. We've done a ton of Nassim Taleb, Dan Sullivan, a bunch of famous business people. We're like, kind of the big dog in the professional self-publishes services space. Um, yeah, right. Exactly. Right, exactly. No, well, okay, so books and publishing won't be a billion-dollar business. If there's a billion-dollar business here, it's in providing all kinds of services around that and the marketing around that. Like, how do you market the book? How do you do branding? All. So we're definitely going to build a big agency. We're already well along the path. Anything beyond that, to get in the billion range, you got to look at software. There's managed services, stuff like that. I'll tell you, that's my CEO's goal is to build a massive conglomerate, and I'm with him. So, like, we'll see what happens. No, I mean I lead the some of the coaching workshops, but I don't do one on one. I do. It's weird. I do have a couple of high level coaches who come to me for coaching, like personal coaching, which is the weirdest thing, man. Like they like came to me and they're like, "Will you be my coach?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "Because we just get along really well, and I don't really do anything except listen to them talk and then ask them questions, and then they have a bunch of insights." And they think I'm a genius. And I've told them this. It's not like uh, they're paying me amazingly well. And I've told them, guys, I'm just this is all I'm doing. And they're like, yeah, yeah, but you're really good at it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Then I'll whatever. So I do help a couple of those people, but that's it. Um, yeah, it depends. So memoir, the way that we coach people is that the memoir is a two-step process. You write a memoir for yourself. It's really about uncovering and recognizing and acknowledging your truth. But then you publish it for the reader, right? So you have to edit it so that like it's only the interesting parts and that you're putting all the honest, authentic parts out and not like a laundry, a grocery list or nonsense, right? And so as to what parts do you put out and not, it just depends on a lot of factors with you, like what are you trying to do? What are the consequences of the truth? Are you willing to accept those or not? Like, yeah, we help people think through that, of course, because that's a big, everyone, everyone wants to write a book, dude. And it's not because everyone wants to be rich and famous. Everyone wants to write a book because they want to tell their story, right? So we do spend a lot of time on that with people, helping them understand how to do that and what that means. But not everyone wants to publish the book, which are different things, you know? I've never met anyone who didn't have a good story in them. They might tell a shitty part of their story, right? Because like everyone has a good story. The key is getting it out, right? Most people are afraid to tell their true story, and so they'll say the things they think they're supposed to say, which that's always boring and terrible. No one wants to hear the things you're supposed to say. They want to hear the truth, right? And so that's what we get out of people when we try to. Why do you think I stopped? I haven't. Like I know I have not published a memoir in a long time. In about I don't know how whatever it is, 10 years, 12 years. I'm working on my next one right now, which is about like what it was like, being moving to husband and father and all that kind of shit. And it's not going to be like one of those funny laugh track ones where I'm going to be the cool dad. Like that's I hate those. It's far more honest and authentic. No, I always knew I would have kids. But I'm a dude, so it's like I'm like, that's a long time in the future because we just get better with age, right? Like if women want to have kids, then they have a clock, right? So we don't have a clock. Like, yeah, right. We can, and so dude, I am so glad I waited to be a dad, man. My kids are 6, 4, and 2. And like, oh God, I would have been a terrible father 10 years ago or 15 years ago. And now I'm like at least a decent father. Like I'm not screwing them up very much at all. Whereas like 15 years ago, disaster. The worst. Right. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Dude, you're making it harder on yourself, man. I'm just telling you. No, seriously, for potty training, like we just for pot, it's self-directed. We let them figure it out, and not like we teach them how to go potty on the potty, but like we don't push them to do it at any point or time. Same with food, right? Like a lot of parents think, oh, well, it's by this age they have to be doing this, and this age they have to be doing that, and that age, no. Like we give our kids very firm boundaries, safety, whatever. But within those boundaries, almost total freedom, and to let them explore and figure stuff out. Like we had one kid walking, at 10 months. Another kid didn't start walking until 18 months. Okay, whatever. Like one talked early, one talked late. Same with potty training. One was out of diapers by 18 months. The other one's 2 years old and still shitting his pants. Whenever he's ready, you know. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, totally. Oh, 100%. I mean, like I giving answers and giving advice is ego. That's you trying to get other people to do what you doing to make you feel about better about your choice. Totally. Because very similar. Because you ask the right questions, you get people will always be more persuaded and more motivated by things they understand themselves. They figure out themselves. True. That's why Edison is famous and no one knows about Tesla, or at least they didn't before Musk started a company called Tesla. But yeah. Hmm. True. It. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That was no. I remember because I forget. Like I had some Twitter fight with somebody, and I'm like, "What the fuck am I doing? Like, this is not. I don't even know who this person is. It's a mirror. Exactly. It's 100% what it is. Yep. Hmm. Yep. Yep. True. Puts Twitter into context, doesn't it? Um, Man, I, this is gonna sound a little bit woo-woo, but it's probably the truth. It wasn't advice to me, but it was more of, I guess, not hardly even advice. The core message of the Buddha was do your work and then help others do theirs. And like it took me 42 years to understand what he meant. And even now, like I only get, I think, the most surface level of that. But like now I get it, right? Now at least I get it. And so now it's like that's if there was something defining my life, that's probably it. I do my work and then I try to help others do theirs just by telling them about how I do my work, not by telling them what to do. So, I mean, that wraps us right back to the beginning. I'm just not afraid to tell the truth. Dude, forget silver lining. The last year and a half has been all silver for me and my family. Like, March and April last year was a little rough, right? But once we kind of like got re got reestablished, everything has been up. It's been an amazing year. It's been one of the best years of our life in so many ways. It's funny. Everyone says they love their family. I actually like my family. And what COVID did was not just really cement that, but then really got my wife and I to focus on making everything about our lives aligned and with what we really wanted with ourselves, our family, everything. My life is in an infinitely better place than it was a year ago in all ways. Company's doing better. Like, I mean, I know it's been hard for a lot of people. I hate, I know it's a cliche, but there is so much opportunity in chaos, and you can either take that opportunity or not, And I'm not saying like everyone gets the same opportunity or the same benefits or the same this or the same that, but I mean, I could have easily gone the other way. I just chose, no, I'm going to try and how do I make this work for us? And it was hard, but we found a way. So I don't know. It's been a great year for us. Oh, my 6-year-old definitely will. I mean, his life fundamental. Dude, my kids were in a private school that went full lunatic woke, and so we pulled them out and with 50 other families started our own school. And so they went from a school that they thought they liked a lot to the new school they fucking love. They just think it's the greatest thing ever. So they'll totally remember it. Oh yeah, like they love it. I mean, like they wanted to lecture kindergartners about white supremacy. Right, exactly. Yeah. I think it ties back to what you just asked, the other question, man. My North Star is doing my work. Like, I'm not trying to change the world. I'm not trying to do all, because I think that's bullshit. All of that is bullshit. The only thing you can do is change yourself and improve yourself. And if you do that, you have a huge impact on the people directly around you. And then that impact ripples out. And that's all anyone can do. And so that's my North Star. I need to improve myself as much as I can, make myself the best person I can be, and get better every day. And that's it. That's all you can do. TuckerMax.com.